So the H4 Blixen is a new SMG which released as a DLC weapon in Season 3 Reloaded, and you can unlock it for free with a weapon challenge in Warzone, and today I'll show you how to complete this challenge to unlock it easily and quickly. Now just as a side note, this weapon can actually be unlocked secretly much easier via Modern Warfare, which is, like I say, by far the quickest method. So if you guys have Modern Warfare, then head to the end of the video to find out how to unlock it incredibly fast. I'll have timestamps in the description if you want to jump to that part of the video. But if you only have Warzone, don't worry, that's absolutely fine. Stay tuned and we'll discuss how to unlock it fast in Warzone, because I know this can be a really difficult challenge and a lot of people do struggle with it. So I'm going to quickly explain the challenge, give the best class setup and game modes for this, and then some quick tips to help you get the challenge done even faster. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video so you don't miss out on any important tips. And once you unlock this weapon, you may want to level it up or unlock gold, diamond or atomic camo on this weapon, or even make a good class setup with it. If so, I'll have some camo guides for this weapon and a guide on how to level up guns fast. So check those out via the card on screen and the link in the description. Let's jump straight into the challenge then, because I know a lot of people struggle with it. The challenge says you need to get 3 slide kills in a single match 15 times, and a slide kill is obviously just killing an enemy when you're doing the slide animation by pressing crouch after you run. You'll know when your slide kill counted because you'll get the low blow medal popping up on the screen, so as soon as you see that, you know it's counted. And as a quick note, in Warzone you should be able to leave the match after completing the challenge requirements in each game without having to stay for the whole match. So as soon as you get the 3 low blow medals, you can back out of the game and start again. And I also believe that the Cold War, Modern Warfare and Vanguard weapons should all count towards the challenge, but there have been problems in the past, so if you find that the Modern Warfare or Cold War guns don't work, obviously let me know in the comments and we can obviously flag that up to people. You can also check your kills counted by checking the challenge progress bar in the game. So during a match, go to your weapons tab, click on edit loadouts, choose a loadout, click on the primary weapon and go to the SMG tab. Scroll down the list until you see the H4 Blixen. It will be likely at the bottom of the weapon list. By hovering over it, it will show you the progress you've made towards unlocking it. Check this before the match note you're on and then afterwards to see if it counted. It no longer tracks in the middle of the match, so you have to leave. And also, sometimes people often report that they've left matches and the progress still isn't showing. If that's the case and you're worried it hasn't counted, just restart the game or go back to the very main menu of Warzone, then boot back up again and the progress should be added. If it's not by that point, then it hasn't counted. What class setup do I recommend you guys using? Well, first of all, you can use any weapon because the challenge doesn't actually stipulate you have to use a specific weapon of choice, so any weapon will do. I'd recommend having an SMG as the first primary or a second primary and a shotgun as the other primary, such as the Jack 12 shotgun for the second primary. So have those both on is my recommendation, and you want to build them with attachments that allows you to hip fire with the weapon. For the perks, you want EOD in perk 1, which allows you to take reduced damage from non-kill streak explosives and fire, overkill in perk 2 to allow you to equip both weapons, and tracker in perk 3 to see an imprint of enemy footsteps to find where enemies are. This is really useful actually for getting this challenge done. So what equipment would I recommend? First of all, I'd recommend putting on the throwing knife as the lethal. This is very important. I'll explain why in just a minute. For the tactical, you want to put on a stim shot or a stun grenade. Either's fine. Stim shot to heal or stun in case you want to sort of stun the enemy and then go up to them and do the slide kill, but obviously it can be a little bit more clunky and difficult, so it can be useful but not all the time. And then for the field upgrade, you can put on the tactical insertion, which allows you to choose where you want to respawn. If there's a specific area of the map you need to get to, it saves time by doing that. Probably one of the most important questions you'll be wondering is what map or mode should I be playing? Well, first of all, there's 2 main modes at the moment. The first main one is Caldera Clash. This is a large scale TDM in a small area of the map. It's great as there's lots of enemies, custom loadouts, no gas cloud and infinite respawns. It's actually the second best mode in the game right now. Well, it's the best mode in the game right now, but the second best one I'd recommend. So if there's nothing else, go for Caldera Clash, and we'll be talking about that strategy first. But the best one in the game is Plunder. You get custom loadout, infinite respawns, no gas cloud, but it's best for completing this challenge because enemies can go into last stand, and I'll explain why that's useful in just a minute. But it's not currently in Warzone, so when it's back, I'd recommend doing it in Plunder. If Plunder's not there, do Caldera Clash. Okay, just as a note for Plunder, make sure you turn squad fill off on the menu before searching for a match, so you won't have any teammates, and therefore when you die, you don't have to keep respawning where the other people are and it will be dragged across the map. You can respawn instead where you were last died and where you want to be rather than somewhere you don't want to be, so it saves time if you turn squad fill off for Plunder. So for Warzone Caldera Clash, which is in the game right now, you want to head to high flow areas of the map like a central house, depending on which area of the map it is, or also if you're on like the storage town part, there's often some of the busier lanes are really good for getting lots of kills. So what you need to do is you need to run up to enemies and press the crouch button to activate slide when you're fairly close to them. You want to ensure you leave yourself enough distance to start running, otherwise if you press crouch you'll just crouch and not slide, which is obviously very annoying. And you can switch button layout on controller to tactical, so the crouch button is R3 or RS if that's any easier. You can either hit fire with your SMG or Jack 12, which is what I recommend, while sliding, or you can throw a throwing knife at them. As long as they die while you're sliding, it'll count. Throwing knife is really good because it kills them really quickly. You don't have to wait for any fire to kill them or any bullets or anything. You literally just aim it straight at at them, throw it at them, and if their health is low enough, they'll die straight away. It's a very easy way to get the slide kill. A lot of people wouldn't think of that because you normally think it has to be a weapon, but yes, the throwing knife does count. But often a slide kill won't count in one go as enemies have a lot of health. So you can either choose someone that you've seen has taken a bit of damage, or you can shoot them a bit first and then go up and slide into them to get the slide kill. Either or, but often if you go for a fresh enemy that's got full health, this won't do it. Even with the throwing knife, you'll have to hit them multiple times for them to die. But normally it should take 1 to 2 throwing knives to kill them. Like I say, the throwing knife is really easy to use to kill, but hip firing works great too. Also make sure if you're in Caldera Clash to make use of abilities like the Hunter abilities, which lights up enemies red through walls to see their positions. Ensure you've also reloaded, replenished your armor and so on before entering gunfights, otherwise you're more likely to die and more likely to fail this challenge. And as soon as the low blow medal pops up 3 times in one game, you know you've done the challenge and you can leave. So this game mode is also great for weapon XP as well, so if you need help with leveling up guns fast, be sure to check out my guide on that too. There's a card on screen and a link in the description. Feel free to check it out because you don't want to be missing out on all that free weapon XP. The second main strategy, which is probably a lot easier in Warzone, is plunder. So when you spawn in, you want to head to a high traffic area like storage town or airfields. There's lots of enemies, which means more kills in a shorter amount of time, and I recommend heading to the outskirts of whatever area you go to, as lots of enemies will sort of land at the outskirts to kind of get into that area of the map, whereas if you go into the area itself, it can be often quite hectic. So go just around the outskirts. There'll be lots of people coming in and you can use that to your advantage. When they land in, you can quickly kill them and get your kills. Obviously if you can't get people there, then go into that center area of the map, but yeah, I often find around the outskirts is actually a lot easier. So make sure you've picked up and put on armor and reloaded your weapon before you enter the gunfight, otherwise you might die more easily. It obviously goes for plunder too. My main bit of advice for plunder is don't attempt to slide kill enemies that are standing or have full health, as it's too difficult. Obviously it's more of a struggle to do it in Caldera Clash and other modes like that. So what you want to do for plunder is either find enemies that are already in last stand mode that have been sort of downed, or go up to an enemy and shoot them into last stand mode with any weapon like an SMG, and then hit fire at them with your shotgun or SMG, or use your throwing knife to kill the enemy completely while you're sliding. That way it's much easier to get the 3 slide kills in Warzone. So basically you only want to be getting the slide kill on them when they're already downed into that last stand mode, because then all you have to do is finish them off and it's much easier. They have low health, whereas it's much more difficult to do on a full health player because they're also shooting back at you. They might be moving, it's just much more difficult. So find someone that's already downed or down them and then do the slide kill. That will count and it's a lot easier. I think a lot of people don't realize that and they make it much more difficult than it needs to be. And obviously if you come across a downed enemy, slide kill them as soon as possible before they kill themselves or an enemy or teammate kills them, because it's a free kill and why would you want to give that up? Also in plunder, ensure that the knife or bullet that kills them actually reaches them before you finish your slide animation, or obviously it won't count. And once you've earned all 3 low blow medals in that match, you know again that your progress is counted and you can leave the match and repeat the process. Another method in plunder which is more frowned upon is staying in the plane until it reaches the end of the flight path, at which point all the inactive players will be kicked out of the plane and dropped to the ground. And there's potentially a few easy slide kills here, but be careful as lots of players try and exploit this strategy, so if there are any active players, obviously kill them first. The final thing I just wanted to say for Warzone is that there are other modes you can do. So obviously you can do Rebirth or Fortune's Keep or anything like that, because I suppose you do get respawns and it doesn't have to be with any specific weapon. It's just that it's much easier to do it in a mode where you've got your custom loadout. But if you want to do it in those modes, feel free to just kind of use the tips I've mentioned. It'll be fairly similar, just a little bit harder. So like I say, in Warzone, ideally do plunder. If it's not around, do Caldera Clash. And then finally for Modern Warfare, this is by far the easiest method. It's really quick because you don't have to stay in the match until it finishes and it's much easier to get the 3 kills. So what you want to do, head into Modern Warfare, choose normally the Shipment or Shoot House playlist or another close quarters combat easy playlist with lots of enemies. Ideally core, as you die too easily in hardcore I think, so ideally core. So head into core, shoot the ship or whatever it is, equip a shotgun or an SMG which you can hit fire with, as well as a throwing knife. Go around the map, run at an enemy, press crouch to activate the slide near them while you're running, and then hit fire with the shotgun or throwing knife to get the kill. You obviously then want to repeat that twice more, and once you see 3 different low blow medals popping up on screen, you know you completed the progress for that match, and therefore you can leave without the progress resetting. So leave the match, repeat it 14 more times, and boom, you've done the challenge. It's really easy. It's a lot quicker. You can easily get it done in under an hour compared to the other modes which will take a little bit longer. And if you also struggle to complete the challenge in Warzone but you don't have like Modern Warfare, there are other limited time modes which may be more useful, but we don't know about those. I think the ones we've got now are fine. Or also you can use the free to play weekends which crop up from time to time to play Vanguard multiplayer for free to get the challenge done much faster. So if that's around, obviously you can also do this challenge in Vanguard too. And if you guys want a guide on how to level it up in Vanguard, feel free to check it out. I'll have that fairly soon, and once it's available there'll be a card on screen and a link in the description for that. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found it useful. If you guys have got any other tips, I'd love to hear them down below in the comment section. Are there any other tips you've got for me that actually might make this a bit easier for other people? I'd love to hear them. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you found the video useful. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video so that other people could find it too. and feel free to subscribe by clicking the bell icon to stay up to date with all my latest Vanguard and Warzone videos. Thank you so much for watching, hope you found it useful, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.